very, very difficult for anyone to deal with between Tag Team, Geminate, and Swarm. So, whatever, it's fine. I'll wait until I see the rest of the draft before I start making any bold claims.
And going back to what you said, where BZZ did have a good lane, it was like the second he stepped out of that lane, things got shaky enough to push him off of that diffusal blade. Ooh, Razor, a hero we have not seen, I think, with our time casting together this for Division 2 just yet.
Surprisingly not. And there have been many times in which I'm like, oh, wow, this would be a great Razor game. This is not one of those games. I actually don't think it's a great Razor game because Ember Spirit can very easily get out of... sure, in the laning phase, it's pretty good, and maybe they just like it. But usually you only see Razor picked up once you see like a Troll Warlord on the enemy team or a Life Stealer on the enemy team, and you see like a solid right-clicking one position who can be abused. Because they can still turn this Ember Spirit into like a different lane. It has to be a core at this point after seeing the Willow and the Jakiro come out. But I imagine this Razor going to be falling around Ember Spirit. And now if you're Empire Hope, you just make sure that you don't draft any melee cores to have to deal with this Razor.
So taking a look at the Nature's Prophet for Team Empire Hope. And Nature's Prophet, Dark Willow, Jakiro, Ember could be an off-lane Nature's Prophet. It looks like it's setting up to do so. And then Dark Willow, I think, is probably taking that farm priority over the Jakiro. But the lockdown for Empire Hope is pretty good. I mean, you've got Sprout, which will most likely secure you an Ice Path, Bramble Maze, Curse Crown, Searing Chains. Like, there is a lot here in terms of disrupting a fight from Team Unique that I like from Team Empire Hope so far.
Yeah, and I think that was a big portion about why they won their game too, is just because they had disabled galore and they had such good like setup with Ember Spirit and Rubik that there was really no choice but to Unique to have to build like a bunch of BKBs, which the cores who needed to build a BKB. But yeah, I think that whenever you are considered the underdog, which I still consider Empire Hope to be the underdogs versus Unique, you go for ease of execution in your drafts, and the easiest thing to execute is having a bunch of stuns. Having a bunch of stuns is never a bad thing, and it seems like that's a pretty good route for them to go, as they will ban out Troll Warlord last. I am guessing that they're probably looking for a safe lane carry. Again, they could send the Ember Spirit there, but I imagine Ember Spirit will probably get abused by the Tuscan Weaver. So look for someone to go into that lane. Someone, let's see. Someone who maybe has like a
5 seconds remaining.
Like a gap creating ability. Jug wouldn't be bad, but no one really plays Jug these days. And you'd have to be a melee core versus a Razor, so actually, it's a pretty good Razor pick. I'm not gonna lie.
The question is getting on top of these heroes for Team Empire Hope. Like, you run it Razor, if you've got Dark Willow sitting level 6, you just throw the Terrorize out there, blow back the Razor, take them away from that chase, and, what else are you getting? And now they go into the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, so it'll be able to deal with the lane, which is Tusk Weaver. Kind of. Even that's not that great, but it's not a hero that's particularly good against Razor, because your doppelganger is never going to be able to, like, it's always going to be clear which PL is the real PL, because the static link will stick on you no matter what, unless if you can, Phantom Rush away from it, but that's much later on in the game. But it is going to deal with the lane, and I think that's the most important thing. So they have a hero that's capable of not feeding in a Weaver Tusk lane. And Unique finish off with a Sven, who will not have to worry about a Nature's Prophet being able to cleave through it, and just having the Warcry for physical damage reduction. I'd say Unique have a pretty solid draft. I don't really see any holes in what they're capable of. And Empire Hope are also like relatively okay with this. Lightless did a great job on the Ember Spirit, so hopefully he doesn't get too abused by Razor in the mid lane, because I think it is pretty important for him to snowball early on as this Ember.
And we see the Sven coming in for Team Unique. Not a hero that I've been seeing all too often. Maybe one that can really benefit from a Weaver Ags, but I still don't know if I just want Weaver to go straight Ags. Like, I just think that Weaver became less of a core in that situation, and maybe like with a Sven here, it's a little bit better. But at the same time, it's just like, what else do you provide to the fight?
Yeah. This game, I would be more okay with it than last game. I'll say that because I think Razor and Sven, like those were my reasonings. Is that you have to have like a very very tanky core, and the other thing that also works out is like if you have a very high cooldown that you want to take advantage of for as long as possible. So like Terrorblade Metamorphosis is the traditional example that if you keep Terrorblade alive for just like a little bit longer, he can change the fight dramatically. For Gyrocopter, you use Flat Cannon, you're not really hindered by the cooldown, you're more hindered by your charges. And so bringing Gyrocopter back to life isn't that important. Queen of Pain, same thing. All your cooldowns are super low. It doesn't really matter if you are brought back another time. But Sven, with God's strength, being able to give him a little bit more time can make a big difference. Razor, if he's like about to die, but he got like a full static link off, being able to bring him back can make a pretty big difference. So I would be more okay with it this game. I would not be surprised if BZZ goes for it this game at all. It's just the last game definitely put a bad taste in my mouth on it, but this game I think it's reasonable.
And I'm kind of worried about this Sven potentially getting kited out by these heroes on Team Empire Hope. I wonder if he's just going to be able to break through what they have.
Sproutesies in this game, perhaps.
Certainly a possibility.
I believe it was famously his Sven who got consistently sprouted.
Yeah, it was the Sproutesy Sven.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I remember watching that MLG Columbus event back when he bursted onto the scene. Speed gaming, yeah.
It's a seminal moment in Dota esports history for sure.
Did he play Sven that event? I feel like he must have, right? Like,
I don't remember actually. That's a good question. Sven has been very, very hot and cold in the competitive scene.
Yeah. I know that's such a ridiculous question. Like, do you remember this tournament from years ago?
Some people do remember, though. They have encyclopedic knowledge of these kinds of things. Me, like, literally, when I'm at an event and I leave the event, I completely forget every single game. I'm a short-term memory kind of guy. You tell me to memorize something for, like, a test, and I'll cram it all 48 hours before, and I'll be great. But if you have, like, some sort of cumulative thing where you're like, remember something from semester, like the first semester, I'm like, no, that stuff is long gone at this point. That's why Dota actually works out quite well for me, because I don't have a bunch of old changelog stuff hanging around in my mind. Because usually I'll read the new changelog and then I'll remember it, and then it'll slowly push out all the old changes out of my mind.
Sometimes the new changes, though, are strictly just 20%.
Right. That's all you need to know. 20%. Which, I mean, as far as the other changes are concerned, I have not really seen too many implications. The game still plays basically the same as I remember. I don't think the talent thing affected anything dramatically. I'm not like, oh, wow, all these heroes that were once viable are now garbage. No, it's pretty much all the same heroes are being picked. It's possible that teams are just waiting for like more significant changes to come out before they start like actively scrimming new strategies and stuff like that. But for right now, all the changes I've been a fan of, because I do agree that power creep has been an issue in the game, and across the board changes are always nice to see to bring things back to a new normal.
So we'll see how the changes continue, what we get in patch changes or patch logs, when eventually we might just see the game has been changed. Enjoy. Figure it out for yourself. And that'll just be the life we live. A lot of hearts and smiley faces being drawn on the map right now. That is that PMA.
Show some love. Oh, that's not PMA. That's PNS.
Yeah, that's TOS. Well, TOS right there. Can't be doing that. But going to the horn. GGG or 666. I don't know. Somebody may be saying good game and good luck, or they praise the devil. Who knows? Those were
Or
G's or
he's
sixes.
a Path of Exile fan, grinding Gears game. At least I think that's the developer.
So here we go. 2 bounty runes apiece. Zitrax is going to start over bottom by himself.
Oh,
That's because they want Illusion and Vanscore to.
It's mid
maybe
Nature's
get a kill.
Prophet versus the Razor.
Well, it is Mastery against 19, so Mastery is their offlaner.
Yeah. So, kind of surprised. I mean, yes, you won't have to deal with Static Link, but there's no way you're going to be able to outlast hit a Razor with your Trance. Eventually, you have to come to the lane.
Now they're gonna try for
He is
this
a ranged
first
hero,
blood.
though.
Go for the tag team. They look for the damage, but this tri-lane setup, at least for the start, doesn't work. So Vanscore will just TP over towards bottom. They tried, but Eknart was already too far in near the tower by the time they got onto him with that Fortune's End.
Yeah, and this lane doesn't really need that much help. I'm anticipating this will be just as difficult for a Phantom Lancer to deal with as a Slark. Both of them had like tools to kind of get out of an Ice Shards, but still, like, tag team plus Geminate itself is just very, very difficult.
And you see the damage already coming in on the Tazake with the dual breath hitting onto Illusion.
Oh wow, bot lane actually lightless.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
One more shot, and Vanscore gets the kill. They're gonna look at James too. He throws down the Bramble Maze, which Zitrax navigates perfectly. He doesn't have Stormhammer.
Oh,
in time.
James!
Ooh, Fortune's End, the damage. Vanscore.
Mango.
Jeez, has the Purifying Flames with the Mango, and will get the kill onto this Dark Willow. That is fantastic from Vanscore, who has probably been one of the better unique players all series, and I do take into account that 5-position DK.
I mean, he played what was given to him, and he did a perfectly adequate job on the DK. So yeah, Vanscore, I will 100% echo that statement, has been a standout for Unique, both enabling the Medusa in Game 1 with his solid Shadow Demon play, and now again, top lane. This may go the way of Dire, actually, his Illusion. He's going to accept his
dies
death.
first, but give BZZ the soul experience and get the kill.
And elsewhere, mid lane, Mastery has a lot of denies, but I imagine they're mostly his Trance, because right now this Razor is having a grand old time in the mid lane.
14 and 6 to the 87 of Mastery. See the Plasma Field come in, just trying to get some last hits here. Misses that melee creep, but continuing to work on forward as he's sitting halfway through level 4, while Mastery is just here at just a level 4. So a bit of an experience lead so far for 19. He's happy with that and gets another range creep tonight. That's pretty significant. I don't want to League of Legends that up and freak out for a range creep tonight. Because denies, first of all, don't exist in League.
Fake hype.
Taking
Top
a lot of damage. Shikuchi coming through, and the Liquid Fire onto BZZ. That'll push him away, but Illusion tried to get the kill on Aknar, and I think kind of maneuvered his way through the trees poorly, and he'll end up dead to Take.
Oh.
Yeah, there it is to finish him off.
Eknar itself kind of gets cancelled, but so does BZZ's, although he has 7 stick charges, so Eknar may need to be a little bit careful, but this lane's doing way better than I was expecting. Shakiro Phantom Lancer, being able to have that attack speed slow with the Liquid Fire and the Dual Breath actually is very, very effective against tag team early on, because heroes have such slow attack speed that you can mitigate it just a little bit, as Vanscore actually gets rooted by James, but with 2 points of Purifying Flames, you'd be more than willing to turn around a fight if Citrax gets Stormhammer, which they're actually considering. Nice Shadow Realm.
Oracle is very deadly early, and I feel like he's not one of those heroes that looks as menacing as he can be. But
no, Purifying Flames is like one of the most famous "I can't believe I died to that" spells in the laning phase.
It's also one of the very, at least for me, one of those good go-to kill steal
of course.
abilities.
No, you were out of range. You know, I had to get off the purifying flames before. You know, you never know.
I had to make sure he died. Because it is really just quite a burst immediately, and you're just... I mean, you could be very deadly. I'm surprised there hasn't been more of what we saw earlier in that lane over bottom, but Eknart towards top. BZZ is here with Illusion. The dual breath came out, but they've got the tag team as well as the damage to get the kill. BZZ gets credit for that one on Jakiro.
Yeah, and once again, they're leaving a bounty rune, although 19 does not have a bottle this time on the Razor, so should pick it up eventually, but Mastery is not teleporting anywhere. He just is staying in this mid lane perpetually.
We're just about to hit level 4, and there's the Fortunes up with the Purifying Flames, but Bramble Maze comes down, locks up Vanscore and Zitrax once. What do you take level
Still can't
4?
tell if this Nature's Prophet is working out. Like, Nature's Prophet's not dying, and he's getting farm, which is probably more than the Ember Spirit would have gotten. So I guess it is working out, as actually he uses a Treant to deny the DD rune top. So yeah, I guess this adaptation was probably the play. There's really nothing you can do to stop a Razor necessarily, so this is just the best way to stem the bleeding. Is now bot lane, Shadow Realm. Oh, they don't get the chains onto Vanscore.
I think one of the things that's a bit of a problem, though, over mid is the experience difference, because it's turned into 19 basically having a full level on Mastery. And not at this moment, but there was, before this creep wave came in, 19 sitting at 6 before Mastery was, and now he's at that 7 pretty early. So the question is, does the fact that 19's having such a good lane over mid and his experience is getting enabled pretty heavily allow him to go and roam around a lot? But as I say that, Cursed Crown comes in, they'll look for the kill. Shadow Realm Strike from James to take care of Zitrax, and they'll also bring Mastery down here to try and push this tier 1 tower.
The only situation in which it would matter is if it was a hero like Death Prophet, where where Nature's Prophet has to rotate to bot to push this, and then all of a sudden his mid tier 1 tower is very vulnerable. Razor does not nearly provide the same sort of factor as Snowball comes in, and Razor's actually going to TP.
They'll bring 19 over. Lightless, though, throwing the Searing Chains. They've got some good shards. Here comes 19 trying to get the kill onto the Ember, who does not have any remnants. So 19 claims the life of Lightless, but that was such a quick taking of the bottom tier 1. They went with that siege creep. They pushed the tier 1 tower, the Ember, and the Nature's Prophet, making sure that, well, now the Sven will have to move over towards mid and farm up somewhere else.
Yeah, thankfully Sven does go mid, because otherwise this would have been pretty useless of a rotation from 19, because they don't successfully defend the tower, and actually Sven might be in a bit of trouble.
He got the kill into BZZ with the Wrath of Nature, I believe. Stormhammer thrown to the Nature's Prophet. Mastery trying to get this kill, but the Purifying Flames as well as the Fortunes, and Zitrax falls, but so does Mastery. Vanscore gets the kill onto this Nature's Prophet, but I mean Zitrax booted from lane and now dead for a second time.
Man, Vanscore shoots up to level 5. Oh, and he may get the kill on James? Oh, no high ground misses here. Vanscore, what a god, man. He's out of control. He's about to hit level 6 before the tomes even come out. He's a higher level than his Tusk, because he basically got 2 solo kills. Oh, man. He's happy as a clam right now, and he's going to pick up that bounty rune that was left behind.
And that might actually help enable the rest of the team, especially a chase potentially coming in from Razor when you've got just, you know, the false promise this early on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, if they get that on top of Weaver's theoretical Aghanims, then it will take so much effort to finish off a target, as now they're diving James in the top lane.
Goes into the Shadow Realm, stuns up Weaver, and, well, he'll try to survive a little longer, but here's 19 cleaning up the kill onto the Dark Willow.
This is good. I'm glad that 19 is being so active around the map. You asked what he would be able to do with a level advantage, and he's asserting it. He's not just mindlessly farming the jungle. He's taking a bunch of objectives, and usually it would be the Nature's Prophet who would be dictating the pace like that, which Mastery is pushing mid, and he's got an army of treants to help him do it, as well as Eknart's 1 point in Liquid Fire. Wow, okay, this is an interesting build. 2 Dual Breath, 2 Ice Path, and 1 in Liquid Fire. Okay.
I've seen a lot of just ignoring Ice Path, too.
Yeah, well, yeah. Earlier on, you'll select which one you think is going to be the one that you max out first, and you'll skip like the third spell. Sometimes it'll be Dual Breath, sometimes it'll be Ice Path, and sometimes even Liquid Fire you'll skip. Usually you don't go for like a round the bend build like this, but it's possible that he's just having to adapt to the game as it's happening.
19 is going to be in a lot of trouble with 4 heroes towards top. They've got the Curse Crown to stun him up. Now the Ice Path as well as the Bramble Maze. Down goes the Razor. They TP to that tier 1 tower after taking the outpost down bottom. And that rotation was heavy, but worth it to get that kill onto the Razor.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And now BZZ was trying to go for a bounty rune, but Phantom Lancer takes it, and he should be able to get this last one, so... Not able to successfully push the top tier 1, and Razor does get punished, but it takes a lot of heroes to finish him off, so 4 heroes end up going top. For Nature's Prophet, that's not that big of a deal, but the other supports are going to have to move around now.
So Weaver finishes off the treads. He joins 19 towards top as well as Vanscore, who is level 6. Fortune's End is thrown all the way at Mastery. The Swarm will be on top of it. He is in a bit of trouble, but will have some help from Whitelist. Terrorize comes through onto the Weaver. Now James on the run, as is the rest of the Dire side. So a good disengage coming through from Team Empire Hope. And they'll continue to farm up the jungle and back away from Team Unique. Waiting to see what BZZ queues up.
I know, right? I'm like, he's in my camera constantly because I want to see his quick buy soon. But he's playing it close to the chest right now. Both teams are just buying time for their position 1s. Phantom Lancer basically going unimpeded in the bot half of the map. And same thing with Sven. Sven doesn't really have any stacks, though, so it's not as fast as sometimes you'll see Sven's get. But he's still doing just fine.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Fortune's End again now on a light list, but really nothing more from that. We've got the Tusk up here towards top, but really doesn't matter. And actually Tusk has, I believe, taken the Tome and now out-leveled the Oracle, who had such a good start to get to that 6 so quickly. They're looking.
We've got maxed out tag team.
Sight was already used, and look at that Lawrence tag team. Ooh, Vanscore with another kill. Support's killing off the Ember. That feels great.
That was fantastically executed. Yeah, perfect staggering, and almost went to, like, it almost didn't work out because that Sleight of Fist, I don't even think it was there to, like, disjoint anything. I think he was just using it to get some last hits and then hopefully get out, because he had a Remnant out. He has a Remnant right next to his top tier 2, but perfect chain disable from 2 supports gets that kill.
And that's the kind of stuff we saw in the first game that made me really believe that Unique was who we thought they were. And
right.
Now, you know, that game 2 comes around and I kind of pull back on those feelings. But now over bottom, BZZ, Bedlam, as well as the Terrorize, and with that Ice Path, they will get the kill. James gets credit for that one, and that is that early damage with a solo target of Bedlam that really just takes somebody out.
Man, these Radiant wards are so aggressive in this dire jungle. They really want to find this Nature's Prophet aimlessly farming, or this Ember Spirit aimlessly farming, which now Zitrax has a bead on Lightless. Doesn't go for the chains, but he has a Remnant, so he can escape if things go south. Hopefully, at least. I said that last time as well. And he shows himself. Oh. Tusk isn't there.
Yeah, they don't have that follow-up.
And Dark Willow threatens a TP. And now they see Tatake.
They're going to go over bottom. They've got the snowball coming in. BZZ looking forward, but good doppelganger from Tatake to leave and get towards Eknart. All the while, Lightless now man-fighting Zitrax. Still has that Remnant down. They bring Mastery over. He's gone into the God Strength, and, well, he'll have that for a little while. The problem is the follow-up there from the rest of his team. So he's kind of away from the Oracle. He's got the False Promise, but he's not close enough to use it. Now he ends up using it on himself. 19 will come around to try and get the kill on a Mastery, which he won't get. I thought he was going to TP out before that, but just in time as the TP seemed to be finishing off.
Oh, nice shard.
Finishes off the Nature's Prophet. Great shards. Yeah, you're right. They go after this Dark Willow, and now they're going to give chase. The Bramble Maze is down under the tier 2 tower, but James falls to the Fortune's End of Vanscore, and that was a good couple of kills there for Unique.
Meanwhile, BZZ is trying to duel Tatake here. He's actually dealing a fair amount of damage, but it's maxed out Doppelganger, so I don't really think a Weaver can survive this. Take is just toying with him.
BCC.
Man, he's going back in. Dude, Nature's Prophet can teleport. This is really risky.
No charges on the wand.
And he's actually not going for the Aghanim Scepter this game. He's actually going to go for the Medallion this game, so I'm fine with that also. There's a ton of physical damage on his team. Oh, he's walking into Sentry Wards.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's dead. Yeah,
that was the second item we saw on the Weaver in the previous game, because it was the Ags into the Solar Crescent. He like really tried to force that with an early ulti orb. I'm not certain if he was maybe thinking about a secondary item going into the ulti orb first, but this time, like you said, going Medallion first.
Yeah, with a Razor, with the active or the armor reduction on the Eye of the Storm and a Medallion, the Sven should be able to tear anyone apart in like 3 attacks.
All the while, Zitrax continue to farm, looking for that armlet, then going BKB potentially into the Ags. We'll see if it is in fact in that order. But for right now, Unique, they've got a little bit of a net worth lead. Do you think it's going better than last game for them so far?
Yes, but I mean, like technically their laning phase is not going as well, but I think that they're set up for success more this game than they were last game. Because last game, again, like their timings were just so awkward that none of their heroes were able to do anything. Now you're saying like this Ember Spirit is constantly under pressure from freaking a Tusk and an Oracle. The Razor he's died a couple of times, but it's like he doesn't really have that much to be afraid of. He's got the Yules complete, he's going second item BKB, so he's doing fine. And then they're all making space for the Sven, which is the same thing that they were trying to do with the Gyrocopter in game 2. It's just that they were not really scaring Empire Hope. They were just kind of trying to be everywhere away from Empire Hope.
So the Medallion is finished on BZZ. I was taking a look over at VanScore's kill line. He's been involved in all but 1 kill. He's 6-0-4 on this Oracle.
Wow. That'll be a fun spree to take away for the Ember Spirit at some point.
If they get that.
I'm saying it's probably going to happen, but if VanScore wants to keep ulting himself, then more power to him.
So, Sven into that armlet. Zitrax, he's sitting third in the net worth behind this Phantom Lancer by 800 gold. Tatake, as much abuse as he took in lane, he still, and especially the abuse that he was taking from the Weaver, he's farmed pretty well.
Yeah, he's been bought a ton of time from his team, and he's been farming in smart locations also, because Unique has been spending a lot of time in the Dire Jungle, but he's been spending the majority of time on the southern half of the map as the Phantom Lancer.
Lightless. You can see how far behind Lightless is compared to the Razor. However, kind of rebounding with the fact that you've got a decent chunk of farm on Map3, who Map3 is technically the 3 position, but he was over mid for the matchup, and Lightless ended up in the offlane. So not doing poorly compared to the Weaver if it's position by position.
Oh, they follow the Remnant, but they leave it. Force out a drum charge at the minimum. He's got a Dragon Scale on Ember Spirit, which always feels very, very satisfying. Being able to get that debuff on everyone in the Sleight of Fist.
Another shot picked up by the Phantom Lancer.
Oh, BZZ. Is he gonna go for the career? You crazy! Time lapse? Okay. They don't have the orchid yet.
Oh. Looking for that sprout close, and now he's queued up that axe.
Yeah, as a second item, it's fine. Right now, he's difficult enough to kill with his own medallion that he doesn't even need to use it offensively. It's a survivability item right now. And yeah, being able to... The thing is, once this Orchid comes out, then Weaver's contribution will go down significantly from the Nature's Prophet. But for right now, he's able to do whatever he wants.
Lightless top again. Zitrax looking to throw a Stormhammer out. Or, well, I thought maybe for a second he'd go for Lightless, but instead just continues to push out the wave and farm up some of these creeps. He sits close to the BKB, if in fact he is... Gonna go for
Smoke
that,
onto the Razor.
Go to the Ags. Gonna look for the Razor. They've got the Cursed Crown coming through as Tatake, but He'll survive with that Yule's Ice Path and the Macropyre laid down onto both the Sven as well as the Tusk. He goes for the Snowball, doesn't pull in the Sven. James looking for a Terrorize, throws it out, only hits onto the Razor. So now Tatake thinking about joining into the fight, but he's got the Doppelganger avoiding that Stormhammer. On the opposite side, the Sprout hits onto BZZ. They've got the Static Link onto an Illusion. 19 continuing to move on forward is now Eknart on the run. James taking a lot of damage. The Walrus Punch, Mike Tyson's James, and he'll be out of this fight. He's the only one dead so far. BZZ, he's been soloed out. They get the kill on Illusion. So far, it's a 1-for-1. The Sleight of Fist through on a Van Score. Van Score falls promise, staying alive for now, but you gotta remember, he's got that spree. He is 6-1, or no, actually, he lost the spree as he is 6-1-5. He was 6-0-3 before.
So that costs an Oracle buyback, and they still pretty solidly lose that fight. Solid initiation at first from the Dire team going onto that Razor, then the Yules kind of throws a wrench in the plans. He evades the Dual Breath, but then after that, like, Razor did not really know what to commit to. None of the targets that he could static link were like particularly tempting, as he actually gets silenced.
Ooh.
Ooh.
He's got the BKB now. I think that would have been a big difference maker in the previous fight. I did not see that Oracle buy back and then had given up that spree, but he bought back and then false promised himself. Like, that was the only contribution to the game.
Who did he even die to? You know, he died to Tatake. So, yeah, the Phantom Lancer gets the spree, and he gets the follow-up kill, so a lot of gold in PL's pocket. But now that the BKB is online for 19, as you said, this will make a pretty big difference in how team fights will pan out, because he should be able to just walk right through the Terrorize, the Bramble Maze, and keep a link onto probably the Phantom Lancer. Oh, Jakiro.
Eknar taking a lot of damage. The Macropyre is down. 19 will pop the BKB. He goes after the Jakiro to get himself at least one, but now Mastery's TP'd over to try and get the kill on a Van Score. Van Score doesn't have that false promise, but the Snowball comes in. They'll get the kill on a Van Score. They will cover Mastery with the Blade Mail. It's not going to be enough. The Static Link is there. They'll get the kill onto the Nature's Prophet. Now a two-man stun with the God Strength isn't enough to take out the life of Tatake. You're looking at Zitrex, who's sitting pretty low. He's arm mode toggling, trying to stay alive. They go back to the high ground. Lightless throws a Remnant back, as Tatake as well as the Dark Will are going to join this Ember to maybe take the high ground once again, but it is a bit of an overzealous call if they were to make it, so they just back away.
Yeah, once you see that BKB come after the Razor, I don't know why Nature's Prophet committed. Even if you manage to kill the Oracle, like, who really cares? They did not know that Sven's BKB was also at the same time, so it was a huge spike for Unique. And all things considered, only losing a Jakiro and a Nature's Prophet for two 10-second BKBs and their, like, reveals as well is not the worst thing in the world for Empire, so I think they're overall pretty satisfied with how that fight went, despite the fact that they kind of lost it.
I see, like, I'm seeing in that fight where it's like the Sven gets really low. Definitely the, like, now I'm like, oh, yeah, this Axe is going to be much better from BZZ this game.
Yeah, exactly. And he's getting very, very close to it, only 800 gold away. And even, like, now, you're seeing BZZ be also useful outside of that. Like, with just the Medallion, he's able to help out a lot in these team fight situations, because he's just, I don't know. The Medallion makes a big difference in early game power spikes, and now his second item, Aghanim Scepter, he will definitely enable his Sven quite a bit as 19 manages to dodge the Bramble Maze, but they still want to fight.
See how much they're willing to commit. Mastery now stuck inside the shards. Fortune's in, a lot of damage being done here onto Illusion. They were thinking about the Terrorize. James holds that back. Tatake committing to this, and now the Walrus Punch comes in, but they get the kill on Illusion, as that was the Wrath of Nature used by the Mastery Nature's Prophet. Ice Path onto the high ground, that locks up Zitrex, but now the False Promise comes through from Van Score to keep him alive for a little bit longer. BCZ comes around from the side. This is maybe not the fight that Unique really need to be taking. Fortune's in, Ice Path again. BKB's been popped by Zitrex. They'll get the kill on Van Score. Now they'll look over to Tatake. They just don't have the damage. They're focusing in Illusion. They are getting tricked around here, kited all over the place, and the Remnant comes through from Lightless. The Sleight of Fist as well as the Searing Chains is out onto BZZ. They'll get the kill there onto the Weaver and take out 3.
Yet again, this is a BKB power spike for Unique, and they're just getting toyed with. They don't really know when to commit, and like it's Empire with these tons of disables that we mentioned in the drafting phase. They just toss out like a Bramble Maze. Oh, we caught someone. Maybe I'll put a Cursed Crown on them and we'll see if they BKB. Oh, they don't BKB? Fine, then let's just keep dealing damage. I'll put the Ice Path out. That's also tons of range. I'll get a Slight Chains off. That's also tons of range. And it's just this very, very minimal effort that Empire have to put in. And Unique are like, are they committing to a fight or not? Should I put my BKB on or not? And it's just throwing Unique for a loop. And now Mastery aggressively TPs in.
Yeah, He TP's in. They also got James with Rambo Maze as well as the Curse Crown down on a 19, but they'll turn and go for Zitrax, who's just into Tatake over bottom while this fight is raging over mid. They get the kill into Mastery, so Vanscore and Zitrax end up falling. It's a 2-for-1, but they lose the Sven again. He's 0-4-5.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be against a Phantom Lancer, because if you have the advantage against a Phantom Lancer, then you're great, because you are able to cleave through all of PL's illusions, and you don't really care which one's the real one. But if you fall behind, then you're going to get like all of your mana burned, and while you may be able to deal some damage, you're not going to be able to stun the PL, and so he can just keep kiting you around as BCC snipes 2 couriers almost.
No, he doesn't get it in. Now the Desolator is on the lightless. He almost got the Desolator courier. He gets the Ags finish, but he loses his life, so... It was looking like a quicker Ags for BZZ, but they've just continued to fight on Unique, and that's probably more of just Team Empire Hope forcing the issue. But yeah, it was a lot slower than I thought it would be.
He has now 25 minutes, and I'm pretty sure he's just going to have to keep very, very close range to his Razor and his Sven. Because now, like, between False Promise and this Ags time-lapse, you should be able to keep someone alive for an eternity.
Dark Will is the one who's really messing with this Razor. He's got Mules, and the Macro Fire comes in. They'll get the Kona Illusion. Now they'll go over 19. They finish him off. Eknark gets credit for that one. 3 heroes gone on the side of Unique, and Mastery moving in 4 more. So Sleight of Fist, no Searing Chains, though. Vanscore leaves successfully.
Dude, Tatake is massive. He has a freaking Basher, Sange, and Yasha on top of his Diffusal Blade at 26 minutes against a Sven. This is insane.
They're just going to go to the high
and
ground.
Razor's dead. Yeah, the Razor's dead for 40 seconds with no buyback. They'd be thrilled to get a buyback, but they'd be even more satisfied if they are able to take this tier 3 tower, and they push quite fast.
What does Zitrax do? He doesn't have any mana. Obviously, he's got himself 14 wand charges.
Now he has mana.
The time lapse, but still, I mean, that could go just as quickly as he got it.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably will as soon as Tatake tosses a lance onto him.
No Razor for 17, but there's the blink forward with the Walrus Punch as well as the tag team. They look to try and get this kill on the Ember Spirit, but the Ice Path is laid down as well as the Dual Breath coming in on Illusion. They'll get the kill there as Mastery gets himself just 1. But with that 1, they also get the mid-setter Axe.
And Mastery immediately TPs up top. Starts hammering away at this top tier 1, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. They still have another 2 minutes left on this Aegis for Tatake, so they can just go face first into this last outer tower. Grouping up maybe for a smoke.
Tatake.
4 stuff getting delivered for the...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about that tower. Like, he was certainly contemplating, do I just go?
He also went for this evasion talent, so Sven is having a hell of a time trying to get rid of these illusions while they burn his mana.
Immediately comes out on a 19. 19 in a little bit of trouble with the Doppelganger around this Razor. He uses that Essence Ring, and they'll go to the backlines looking for Vanscore. Vanscore, though, backs off. Tatake might be in a little bit too deep. They've got themselves a static link, but it's immediately taken off with the Terrorize hitting onto 2. False Promise immediately used onto Zitrax, so pop that BKB as well as the Eels coming through onto the Razor. But Razor, he's popped his BKB as well. He's not really doing enough. They get the Aegis out of the hands of the Phantom Lancer. Can they start to turn this fight around as Lightless now looking to get more than just 19? He'll take out Vanscore. They'll buy back on the Oracle. They've gone and got the Sven. And with BZZ going down just 28 minutes into the game, Empire Hope reverse sweep this series and take out Team Unique.
Did not see that one coming. After I saw game 1, I thought Unique had this locked up. I was like,